James?
Doing good. That was a nice job. That was a great clip y'all put together.
Yeah,
I think I need a cigarette after seeing that. It was pretty nice.
What's it when you look back and see, you know, the last X amount of years of your life? What do you think?
I think I just had such a good time doing it. I think I've always been kind of lucky in life. Now, I've screwed up plenty of times, but it always seems like I was in the right place at the right time for good things to happen. A lot of hard work went with it too, but just good times. And being Stone Cold Steve Austin in front of 20,000 people every night is just a blast. And now, you know, doing the movie thing now, whole different ball game, but just if you're in the entertainment business and that's what you do, it's a pretty good thing because it's not like having a real job. So I consider myself real fortunate.
Well, did you always think you were going to get into the movie business? Was wrestling just something that was going to get you here anyway?
No. My lifelong dream was to be a professional wrestler. That's what I wanted to do. Just from ever since when I first was changing channels, I saw wrestling on TV.
Who was your wrestler? I remember seeing Sergeant Slaughter, and that was when I was a kid, and I went, wow, I like that.
This was back in the day, and I grew up in South Texas. I got Houston wrestling. I saw guys like Jake the Snake Roberts, Dusty Rhodes, guys like that come through, and there's something about it just glued me to the TV set. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I ended up doing. And then when I finally pretty much got near the end of the wrestling days, I had time to do something else. That's when I decided, hey, you know, let's do the movie thing. But it wasn't my goal to be in the movies. It was to be a pro wrestler first.
When you were a pro wrestler, were people coming to you saying, hey, Steve, listen, why don't you get into movies? Were they giving you roles? Did they try to make you something?
Well, you know, I had a few offers to do certain things, and I did 13 episodes of Nash Bridges back in the day. They offered me a series the next year based on a character that I was playing, Jake Cage. But at the time, I still had wrestling in my blood. There was no comparison on the money end. I was making way too much in wrestling. I was, you know, lucky to have that happen, but timing wasn't right. You know, I think everything happens for a reason. I think timing is a big key in life, and the time is now, and here we are.
I mean, you know, bands make all their money touring and merchandise. Did you get the cut of the merchandise, the Austin 316 shirts?
Absolutely. You know, you get your you make your money in the ring, and you know, your pay-per-views and all that stuff. But merchandise is a huge part of that, and you know, I had a big cut of that. I don't know if guys these days are getting those same percentages. But that was a big part of the money I made, and I was very hands-on. Basically, I created every piece of merchandise that I sold, and that was something that I monitored and took care of because it was my baby. And I always wanted to sell a lot of merchandise because I almost got fired from WCW because they said I wasn't marketable. You know, I ended up getting fired because I had an injury, and it took a long time to heal up. But every time I sold a T-shirt, to me, I got royalties off that, but the bigger part of that was saying, screw you. You said I wasn't marketable, and now I'm proving you wrong.
Was that a big part of your life growing up, too, that sort of, you know, you see a lot of kids like that you're never going to do anything with your life kind of kid, and you get pushed and pushed and pushed, and some kids don't do anything, they react one way, and other kids react and overcompensate in another, so you became this guy. You know,
I grew up in a middle-class family. We were never poor, we were never rich. We just always made ends meet. And my parents are the greatest folks in the world. They're still around. My dad just beat cancer. It's his 3rd year anniversary from beating cancer, chemo, radiation, all that stuff. Anything I did, they supported me with just positive encouragement. They never rode my ass and say, you got to do this, you got to do this. They let me do things my way. They let me make my mistakes, but the support was there. And my dad always told me, he said, Steve, if you're going to do something, do it right the first time so you don't have to come back and do it again. And that's kind of the approach that I've always taken in anything. I've done so many things where I wasn't the most talented person in the world trying to do that, but I'd outwork everybody so that I was the #1 guy. And that's what I did with wrestling.
Did you and your dad get along when you were young?
Well, absolutely. We did. You know, I have 3 brothers and a sister, but I have two brothers that I was actually born in Austin, Texas. My folks got a divorce at a young age. So the man that I call my dad now is actually my stepdad. But we don't use the word step in my family. We don't use half brother or half sister. I mean, we're just family. And so I was very close with my stepdad, and he's the greatest man I ever met in my life because he's a guy that married a beautiful woman, my mom, with 3 hell-raising kids, me and my 2 brothers. And I've always respected him so much for, you know, taking that responsibility because he's a better man than I can be, I think.
And I wonder if that relationship with your father, that guy, helped make you the man that you are today.
I'd say absolutely yes.
You know, but was it an easy decision for you to make? Like, you know, kids kind of go their own way, and then they have to sort of realize, wait a minute, I probably want to be more like him.
Well, it was just, I think like I said, I've screwed up plenty of times, but always knowing, you know, that hard work, you know, determination, and you know, that's always going to take you places. You can have a lot of good intentions, you can have smarts, you can have talent, but the bottom line is hard work's going to beat all that any day of the week if you keep applying it.
You remember the first time when you know, your wrestling career really took off, when you kind of were able to look at your family and say, can you believe this?
You know, I never did that. I just, to me, everything just kind of happened, and then things just got hot, and people always ask me, he goes, well, did you ever expect it to be this big? And I didn't. I didn't know what to expect. And it was just a good ride, but the way my folks brought me up, and I don't try to be humble. That's just the way I am. They always taught me to keep everything in perspective, and that's what I've done. I mean, when I got dropped on my head and almost paralyzed, and a few years later I had that surgery, and I was gone for 15 months. I'd been on top of the world and had it yanked from me, you know. So I know what it's like to be on top of the world and then go back down to nothing, and then go back in and get it back. So you keep a level head. I mean, I can't stand when I see people with some success and they get a big head and they think they're better than everybody. You can't do that. If you're in the entertainment industry, you better take care of the people that take care of you, and that's the approach that I've always taken.